Welcome to TimeBolt Office Hours on Thursday, November 30th, 2023. You're live with Doug and Quinson. We are here to check your workflows, answer questions, and generally just make sure that you get the best out of TimeBolt. Today, we usually start talking about basic workflows with customers. I do have a ad that I would like to start off the day with by showing you guys.
Yeah.
Who wants to watch an ad this early in the morning? It's only a minute long. It's up to intensive. Who's intensive coach? What's your name?
Aladdin.
Nice to meet you, Aladdin.
Nice to meet you.
Maybe Louis a silent partner today. I'm not sure. Now, this happens fast. It's a minute long. To put it into context, imagine you're on Instagram, YouTube Short, and you're interested in video editing, which you are.
Have you ever noticed what's bad for people is good for video? COVID, gas prices, and war. Today, video is a life skill. And if you put a bad one on YouTube, no one watches. But for a project at work, or even 10th graders for class, you go from ignored to annoying. And your very first thought before you hit record is, how do I not look foolish? But like photographs, 35% of takes are no good. To be like the video you watch is less about what you design in. Instead, it's about what you subtract. TimeBolt is a rapid video editor for Windows and Mac. In 3 clicks, cut out 85% of the stuff that makes you hate the sound of your own voice. Dead air, mic strikes, coughs, ums, ahs. You can put TimeBolt in one bucket and all our competitors in another. We analyze audio signatures, not AI transcriptions. Our base cut is inherently more precise. And unlike transcriptions, time just doesn't disappear in between 2 sentences. So you can do things like fast forward silence as well. For a subscription price of $97 a year, we solve attention deficit video disorder for work in YouTube. Warning, afterglow effects of seeing a smarter, faster you in video will occur.
Nice.
Would you click on that?
Attention deficit video disorder, definitely.
Nice. That's interesting. You picked up on that, Aladdin, because we actually put out an ad. This is another direction that we can go. This is actually called it TimeBolta. Hate the sound of your own voice. The anti-foolish software for attention deficit video disorder. And I'm thinking there's like this normal route. We go around talking about the product, but then there's we could get into making fun of some pharmaceutical type commercials. Just do some parodies on that.
I've been like mentally invested in the marketing, digital marketing strategies for a while now for my own company. The ads that really get out with all the noise and the buzz in the social media are the ads that are actually, they kind of tease people, or they say something that is maybe not politically correct to say, and then that triggers people, and then you go and read, and hey, it's a funny story, and that's what triggers attention.
Yes, throw a little drama in it. If you read the fine print on the ad, I'm like, a warning, it could result in higher child support payment brackets, all kinds of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff in that fine print, man. I don't know where all that came from. But
where are you guys seated?
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm near St. Louis, Missouri, and
I'm in Bangalore, India.
Nice. I am in UAE.
Oh,
nice. You're across the world. Do you have good beaches out where you're at?
That's Dubai, man.
We have plenty of beaches. Like, all we have is beaches. It's all we have.
That is all you have.
Dubai is in UAE.
Dubai, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, all of these
Abu Dhabi,
Emirates.
Moquin, Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah, all that.
Oh, that's where Quinston wants to live, actually.
Yeah.
You just found your ticket in.
Oh, nice.
We want them here in the United States.
I moved here actually quite recently from, I think like 4 months ago from Sweden. I've been in Sweden my entire life. Too cold and it's -9 in Sweden right now and full snow, like maybe 2-3 decimeters of snow right now on the ground. Here it's 35 degrees of sun. I prefer this. That's why I moved here.
Nice. Well, the reason we get so much work done here in Missouri is because we've got snow all the time. So if we lived in California, and we wouldn't get anything done. Could you give us a little background about the type of content that you create?
Intensive Code. What I do with my company is I have a boot camp education for system development and programming. So for people who have never programmed before, they take my boot camp, which is a mix between pre-recorded videos and live sessions. So they learn programming within 6 months in their native language, which is Swedish. What I do, most of my editing is a lot of retakes. I try, because as a teacher, I try to with the pre-recorded videos to convey the meaning and the knowledge in a concise way, but also in a very pedagogical way. I can explain it in a very good way. So sometimes I explain the same concept maybe 3 or 4 times, and then I have to cut 3 of them out and leave just the best one in the videos. The concept, I tried the TimeBolt out actually because I was looking for, there's a lot of silences in my video. That's what happens because I'm thinking, wait, I could say this in another way, and then I rephrase, and then I make another take. I want to cut these takes out, and maybe if I record for 20 minutes, I spend about an hour editing out the silences and the retakes. I tried actually using TimeBolt and I did it in 10 minutes. So it's definitely going to save me a lot of time. That's my use case.
That's fantastic. Are you also recording the live sessions?
Yes. So basically that would be like a 2 hour long Zoom call, or 2.5. But usually most of the Zoom calls, there is one or two pauses, which is like 5 or 10 minutes. That's an easy cut out. And the rest of the time, it's not silent because it's a dialogue. But in my pre-recorded videos, I'm having a monologue, basically.
Excellent. You're doing both scripted and unscripted video. And what has been your experience? It sounds like drastically cut down on your editing time. What's been your experience? Do the quick keys to quickly cut stuff out, or are you doing stuff manually? Just to kind of.
No, I'm a hotkey nerd. The first thing I clicked on the TimeBolt was the hotkeys. I'm using basically the cut previous green. I'm using that one a lot. So basically, I'm just watching the videos, the B key. I'm skipping, it skips all the silences. And as soon as I hear, oh, this is a retake, it's the same sentence, but a rephrase, I just press the B key and it's amazing.
Nice.
That's perfect. Yeah. Yes. And that's what we tell people. The three most important keys that you can remember are SOB. Right. And US stands for something here in the US, but it'll be S splits the playhead, O turns the scene on or off, and B back cuts. Right. And
what does O do?
O turns the scene off. You can hit O pretty rapidly. Okay. You can't just go if you got like fast forward sounds, but you can hit O pretty rapidly and it'll cut, just turns the existing scene off and jumps to the next. So it's a very fast way to chop out a lot of content. And then the S key, obviously.
O and B are basically the same, but O works for the previous.
But O has one more functionality attached to it. O basically takes the playhead from the current scene to the start of the next scene. The head doesn't stay. So when you press O, the head doesn't stay in the same place. It goes to the next green one.
I noticed the B does almost the same, but it restarts the current.
Correct. It doesn't change the playhead location. It just turns off the previous one. I think that can give you a demonstration.
I can give you a quick demo here. This is one of our live calls, unscripted, right? But as we're going through here, the first thing that I would recommend that you do, and I'm working right now on a very fast onboarding video that goes through this. You don't have to go guess a bunch. You want to put this at 1.5x speed so that your preview playback rate just defaults. So now when you click the space bar, questions, check your workflows, and let's make sure that it automatically goes and starts at 1.5x speed. So you don't have to hit L all the time. There's no reason to ever preview it.
Okay. I usually use a 2x. I don't typically hit L, but maybe that's something that should be included in my workflow.
L can be used to double the current playback speed, but if you already have it set over there, maybe you don't need to use it.
If you just set it here, I rarely ever hit L. Our goal is that during the first pass, you're getting all of this edited, so you don't have to ever watch it again. What we have here, like we talked about the S key, S obviously creates a split. See where it creates a split right there. In Quinston, we're here to answer your question. Put out any particular specific scene, and I just put an S, hit S again. Right now, the playhead, you can't see it, is on the right side. It's continuing down the line. So if I hit B, I back cut that key. It just basically back cuts whatever you want to cut out. Now, the O key is this. So TimeBolt. I
think automate thing that I think it's
see how fast that goes.
The benefit of this is you don't need to stop the playhead. You don't need to stop playing it. You just keep playing it. You don't like that scene, just press over, it goes to the next one.
That's the way that we're dealing with retakes right now. It's a pretty fast way. You're not highlighting a paragraph or highlighting a sentence and then hitting a key. Every key press is time. We've made it to where it's just a single button press.
Flow in Final Cut was very tedious. I have to place the playhead at the end of the sound wave and then press Control and B or Command and B to split, and then go to skip the silence with the playhead, and then go to the next start of the next sound wave and split there as well, and then ripple delete the in between.
No, that's definitely, we not only made it to where it cuts out the silence, but it's also faster to edit in TimeBolt, like polish the timeline, sculpt it than any other editor. Just due to our linear nature here. That's our basic key functions. The first thing you want to do, obviously, when you drop your file in on any, whether it's unscripted or scripted, is run your automations. Right. So the first automation, there's two primary automations that we have is a silence detection. You got the settings should be pretty accurate for you. 90%, 95% of the time, the math is spot on and you don't have to adjust this. You remove silences longer than anywhere between 0.5 to 0.2, depending on where you're rendering. You always want to leave this at 0.75. There's just no point in changing this. Sometimes maybe 1 out of 100 times it may capture an important word, but it's a word that happens desperate in between sentences. It's pretty easy to capture up, but that captures your mic strikes, random noise, stuff like that. Left padding, leave at 0.01 because your volume starts pretty aggressive. You're not having long S&T sounds, and I read my right padding at 0.15. Anytime I change this for unscripted video, okay, this is what's interesting. Unscripted video, you do not want this at 0.12, okay? Scripted, you actually can have it at 0.12, okay? But it's best leave it at 0.15. It prevents the early cutoff of words. All that's typically going to be normal. Now, this is, have you ever used Umcheck?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Okay, great. This is Umcheck, okay? This is a must for unscripted video content, 2-hour Zoom calls. Imagine this. Instead of me just going through it, I hit start audio transcription, and what it's going to do, it's going to rip off an audio-only WMV file. It's going to kick it on up to our server. It's going to transcribe, where you'll get the first 3 for free, but you do have, it's a pay-per-use technology. I think it's 50 cents for every 10 minutes, okay? And what it does is it transcribes the footage and kicks it back down. I'm going to go ahead and reload one that was already just done for this. 16th office hour, because you can also save these. So this is what it looks like when it kicks back. An hour and a half video is probably going to take anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, okay? 2 hour, between 2 to 5 minutes to upload, get the transcriptions, and it'll kick back. And it'll kick back exactly like this, okay? You're able to put on any unique word tick phrase, but we pre-populate check with a lot of the popular phrases, but you can actually create your own. You can do word choice combinations. If you said like, what I'm saying, or if you had your own unique word tick,
yeah,
it's not just multiple. But we end up catching 40 to 50% more filler content our competitors do. And like, they're based on transcriptions, and we're based on sound and audio waveforms. Then what also is extremely important when it comes to unscripted video, see this run false start detection. Now you're like, wait a second, why is it taking out note taker, right? Because it's right here. I have a habit of stuttering in live calls that I've noticed, like when I go back, and I'll end up saying the same word over twice. Don't even know I'm doing it.
I usually, I do it for I, and I do it for and a lot. Double and or double I do it a lot.
Exactly. And we've got this thing to where it goes up to, like, look at this.
Seven words.
We don't have, look at that. When you cut this out, it really just creates a symphony of words. All you do from here, again, you've only made 2 button presses, okay? Third press, turn off selected words. You're going to, if you might have your own unique word tick phrase, you add that once, it's going to repopulate in there. Just kind of remember what you used. So before you cut out anything, like I was showing you, before you cut out anything, you run your automations. Let me get to where we don't have a specific agenda. If you notice, this is actually we don't have a specific. You heard that happen twice. And if you want to just kind of see like the ridiculousness of how you talk unscripted, you hit flip timeline, and you can just buzz through. And for context sake, what's nice is after you run Umcheck, okay, for this unscripted video, you can now see that when we were speaking, we're at about 179 words per minute with dead air included, which is what a raw file typical speaking average is. With running Umcheck and time bolting this, we're at now 214 words per minute, which is watchable content. I mean, I may not be interesting, but you're not going to be bored out of your mind, right?
Is there a real like use case for flip timeline, or is it just like for funs?
Depends on how creative you are.
There was when it was kind of a marketing thing. It was like, hey, let's show people before people even really knew not people, I'm talking about the general public, like the importance of cutting out dead air and trying to talk about jump cuts without actually using the word jump cuts. You can do reverse timeline and create just all a bloopers.
So, for example, if you want to find out how many times Doug said Umcheck in a video, then you can just go to Umcheck, and you can write Umcheck in the box and then turn off check and then flip time, and you can find all the places where Doug said Umcheck.
Exactly. And you can, yes, that's
so it depends on how creative you are, essentially. It's a tool, right? You can use it the way you can fit it into a workflow somehow. It's possible.
So the transcription payment cost, it's a one-time fee, $0.5 dollars per
it's pay per use.
It's 50 cents for 10 minutes. So for the full video, 2 hours, it would go maybe $6. Okay, that makes sense. And this cost, it doesn't, you don't have to pay twice if you're going to change the words, right? Like it transcribes
Not once.
the
It's
words
for
as
the
much as
video,
you
right?
want.
You can download it. You can download the file. You can do whatever you want with it. Once the transcription is done, the file is sent to you via email also. So you can download it in your email directly, or you can just, it also populated automatically through the server directly inside TimeBolt. But you always have that file. So whenever you want to use the same video, you can just upload the same JSON file. So it's a JSON file, .json. You can just upload that file directly into TimeBolt and it'll be the same transcriptions because it's the same video at the end of the day.
Okay, that's awesome. Does it work for languages other than English?
Yeah, it does. We are using AWS Transcribe. Every language AWS Transcribe supports, it can work with those.
What's it called? AWS?
Amazon Transcribe, that's a service we use.
Transcript. Okay.
Amazon has a transcription service. That's what we use. And I think it supports like 39 languages. I'm pretty sure Swedish is included.
I just checked. It was included last year. You're right. Cool. That's
The reason these cost money is because these are based on word token levels, right? Like they come down and they're time coded on a word level, not a sentence level, like Whisper. And that's why there's paid transcriptions. They get very precise.
Yeah.
We're using the same technology as other companies on that, like on the transcription service. And what you may know when you go through, you might find about 20%, sometimes 30% of the like just the random don't get caught up, don't get registered. And you'll see the in the transcript and you'll see it, TimeBolt has marked it to remove, but the actual word token is like 1,000 millisecond cut, right? Where the is maybe 200 millisecond, it just freaking cuts right. And it just makes we had to create a tolerance and a threshold for what we would allow to be counted as a word.
I see.
That's how that works. So now that you got your automations done.
How does the payment happen? Like, does it go to my TimeBolt account?
No, you can pay it via Stripe. Like you can directly just add your card and pay it. It doesn't go through our existing TimeBolt subscription plan. So it has a separate Stripe link where you can just pay it.
Okay, because then it would be nice if you had some kind of like credits or balance that you can fill up.
That's coming up. We're still working on that. Yeah, that's the
Because
most requested
otherwise
feature.
you have to enter your payment details every time.
Totally, that totally sucks. The good news is that the first 3 times you don't have to. You'll get a chance to see what. Yeah, the first 3 are free. You're going to get a chance to see what when we do implement credits. But to us, it was about getting the features and the technology right, and then working on the ordering part. We appreciate that feedback. That's definitely one of our most often requests. Now that you've got this run and your automation's done, use your SOB keys. Now I would recommend, now you move into enhancements, right? So you go from automations to enhancements and then to export. Now how you enhance is, you've got your sculpt, which we already talked about. You've got the ability to punch in. Okay, let me see if I can find on here where we'll just punch in here. You hit the P key and you can move around you hit the P key to punch in as any zoom amount, and then you use Alt or Option in your arrow keys and to move around the screens.
Or maybe export 2 hours in TimeBolt and do a first cut in time.
What?
Right?
A great one.
I know.
That was a perfect scene. No way.
I was probably trying to block him out. It was funny. He came on and he was just like looking at his webcam. He didn't even say anything the whole time. He was just like looking at his webcam and kind of was like, what? So you're able to punch in and out
do a first cut in time
without learning keyframes, right? So you can show a focus area. You can do that stuff. I would use the P key. If you want to set custom zoom amounts, which for like Zoom, you want to do that. There's a difference between a Zoom call and punching around on the screen. You go to settings, 125. Let's just throw this at 175. You're able to actually create customs. See how much more I was able to zoom in?
TimeBolt and do a first cut in TimeBolt. I don't know. And
it wasn't necessary to zoom that much.
Except for like on Zoom calls, like where you're showing a screen. That's why I was trying to find a freaking screen. So usually we have a screen somewhere.
Does this punch, how long does it stay for? Is it for the rest of the clip or all of the clip?
Yeah, just the clip.
Just a cut.
Right? If I want to make a quick punch for 1 or 2 seconds, I need to split first and then.
Yeah, the point of this was to make it as simple as possible, so that you don't have to like do like in normal software, you'd have to make keyframes, right? You have to make one keyframe, then zoom in, then another keyframe and zoom out. Here, we just wanted to make it like a simple thing that you can just throw in whenever you feel like it. Maybe the most common use case for TimeBolt usually is a talking head video. It's very easy to just press P and like create that effect of like zooming in, zooming out, just to create that sense of excitement in the video so that people don't drop off. That was the main agenda of this feature, but yeah, it can be used for multiple variations.
Okay, because TimeBolt, it's supposed to have you edit everything in one take, right? Does this, if I want to punch, I'm playing, and then I want to punch here in this moment, I press S and P, and then I play for 2 more seconds and press S again. That will only be the only one punch.
Yeah, I think when you split, so let's say you have like, Doug, can you show it to him once? You have like,
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, it's just audio coming through.
So let's say you press P on this clip, right? You press P and then you press S. Doug, can you press S? Yeah. What happens here is that when you split a punch that's already been split up, the punch gets distributed in both of them. Okay. You could remove it by pressing P again and just like deleting it. You can press P twice, one more time. So it's gone now. Once you roll back, it goes away. You can even right click and there's also a right click option where you can right click and reset the punch in.
Ah, I see.
If you have a clip that's already punched in, when you press S, the punch gets split between those two.
Can you try this? Can you try this out, Doug? If you go at the beginning of this clip that you're at right now. Yes. Okay. Let's start from there. And then you play for like, let's say a second, and then afterwards you press S, and then you press P, and then you press S again. Can you try that?
Okay. So, because I think with your 5 to 15,
and then play a 1 more second.
15-minute video,
and then you split again at the end of that second.
So you have like 10. Like at the end of which one?
And then press P.
And then continue for 1 second, and then you press S again.
And continue for 1 second.
Pause, and then S. All right, so basically that's what I wanted to check. The next video also gets punched.
Correct, right. It splits it. You press P or you reset the punch.
So what I need to do in my workflow, if I want to punch for 1 second, is I need to do this, and then I need to press P a couple times on the other end of the video.
Correct,
that
correct.
I don't want to be punched.
I would still not recommend doing that. I would say split it first and then press the P, because that's much easier, right? Like if I'll just do one thing. Can you go to the next clip? Maybe just find a new clip. Just press, you stop, you press S, and you take 1 more second, press S, and then you go into Premiere Pro and you combine. Wait, let me show, like maybe it's easier if it's hard to like explain what I'm trying to say. In TimeBolt, you can even use your keyboard, right? I don't even need to use the mouse. What I do is I'm here, I press S, I move ahead a little bit, I press S again, and I press the down key. It goes to the previous cut. I punch. You can use the up and down arrow keys to move between cuts.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like if I'm playing it, okay, I pause it, I press S, I go ahead. Shift arrow keys, you can go ahead way more.
Yeah, it gives you 10 frames, right? It's the same in
10 frames, right? And then I press P over here. That's
all right.
This is much easier because here you don't even have to use your mouse. You can just do it with the keyboard with the arrow keys. That's what I meant to say.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a coincidence, just from my own recollection?
Yeah.
Let's say you get into an area like this. You're in an area like this where you've got a lot of different, like, because the Umcheck cutouts, the stuff like this used to be like one typical long file, but I got repeats in here. But let's say right here, I really wanted to punch in on a certain part of the screen and I've got to go up, right? Top 175. Is it within our functionality at some point to be able to basically go shift and highlight this and to blanket apply the top left? Like I would right click and go 50. Like it's
could be possible. Could be possible. Yeah.
I just didn't even know if that was within the realm of possibility with the way our GUI is.
Yeah, could be possible.
It would be blanket applying the punch effects and markers. Okay. Whatever is in red isn't going to be included anyway, correct?
Makes sense.
These could have punch values, but they're not actually, it doesn't really even matter that they have punch values because they're not going to be included. So that's for punch. And then with the markers, it's important because now you really can imagine, let's say this whole thing. So let's talk about markers now. You've got punch, you've got fast forward silences. Okay. This is something that I use, just complete randomness. Okay. I don't like to mute it. Just keep the audio flowing, but you can go up now and let's say you're doing a tutorial. Okay. I'm not saying you do tutorials, but let's say you're doing a tutorial and where you're like,
that's all I do.
Well, let's say that like your mouse clicks matter, like on the software, you're talking about software, your mouse clicks matter, like the order. But when you stop talking, doesn't necessarily mean what's important. What's playing on the screen isn't important. That's one of the benefits of TimeBolt. Time just doesn't disappear in between 2 sentences. I do something like fast forward silent, cut shorter than 3 seconds by up to 4x. Right? I come up here and now you see all these in orange. Anything that was less than 3 seconds, okay, is going to be sped up by 4x. While you're not going to see it in preview, it's completely sped up. You just see somebody like writing fast across a chalkboard or something. Okay, that's comes into big with live game stream content creators and people doing tutorials. So you can speed up silences, and those also export to Final Cut Pro through our plugins. This is a really valuable tool at different parts in time. Most of the time, you don't want to have to. You're not going to automate that. Instead, it's going to be like kind of one-off things, right? You're like, oh, this is the one time that I would recommend that you use the actual keyboard, okay? And you come up here at the top of the playhead and you turn it to orange. You're going to be able to turn that to orange as long as fast forward silence is detected. If it's not, or on, because if it's not, it's just going from red to green. That's how you use fast forward silences. The third enhancement is markers.
Does that affect O?
When B usually just, even if it's orange, it just turns it off completely. And
Yeah.
O also behaves technically the same way. If it's
O
orange,
is the same as clicking.
no, O also turns it off. So if you have a file, a clip in orange, can
It'll
it convert that to orange?
It's whatever's in green is going to flip to red. So the O key isn't like, it isn't going from, we changed, I remember going through that. We went, it doesn't go from green to orange. It goes from green to red to orange. Right. So if I click O right here, it's going to turn it to orange. So you're not
green to red and red to orange.
That's a good question.
No, what if it's orange already?
I think it goes to red.
I think it goes to green. It goes to green.
So that makes sense. It's a cycle, basically.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
The second thing is, okay, do you make YouTube chapter markers?
YouTube chapter markers.
Our chapters for YouTube, time codes.
No, because I have my own LMS, which I upload the videos to, and they don't support time codes. I can't put like chapters in the video.
Okay.
But what I do is I make short videos, like the different tutorials or chapters are already divided. I have everything ranging from
1 to 8 minutes per video. And in these videos, are they captured horizontally or vertically?
Yeah. No, it's horizontally because I'm programming on my computer.
Okay. And this is our use of markers, okay? And I think you're going to get some good use out of this. Do you make shorts at all?
Yes, I do. I do for Instagram and TikTok, but that's different from the programming. Like the education is one thing, and then I make marketing about the education, which I do on a portrait mode.
On portrait mode. Let's imagine something first that you wanted to go through and you wanted to highlight your key scenes. I understand that you're making a different video right now to do the portrait. To do the vertical portrait mode, right? But let's say you wanted to highlight some key scenes as you're going through. You can press M, okay? And that adds a marker. You go over here, and as you press markers, okay, you're going to see that mark duration. The duration starts adding up. But if I'm going through and I'm like, oh, wow, customer talked really good about TimeBolt, and that's all I want to include, not all the bad stuff. So you can go through and basically highlight key scenes. Let's say that this added up to a minute, okay? Now what I want to do, and I just want to keep those mark cuts, I do keep only mark cuts. Okay, and it'll tell you to get back to your original timeline, hit Command Z to undo. Now,
shift down is to go back and shift up is to go ahead.
I don't
think we're able to communicate.
Now, only the keep only mark cuts, this 35 seconds in duration. Now you can go through, activate. I like doing, let's say that this is, we had a 30-second time limit. As you saw, it said 35 seconds, right? I go activate turbo mode. I do a time limit to fit within 30 seconds. That is going to speed up the whole video by 1.180. I can now hit add to render queue, start rendering. This is how, if you watch our live office hours, you can also use markers, or not markers. You can also just use turbo mode to speed up your whole rate of speech in all your video without sounding like a chipmunk. From now at 214 words, you went to go from 170 words a minute to 214 to now with turbo mode at like 244. And it's when your brain can comprehend 400 to 800. It's filling that gap in your mind with the faster words per minute. So now you can create your short. You can export XML. You can export directly within TimeBolt. One of the things that we were looking at is the ability to your point with these shorts. It is, whether it's a short, it's a reel, it's really a mode. It's a vertical mode, right? It's actually like vertical video that is supposed to go on a phone. And we're looking at the possibility of, just like you can punch in, right, and go to different parts of the screen. What if you were able to, for example, in your, if you do like an hour, 2 hour long Zoom, you're able to go in now and say, I want the first third, the second third, or the third of the screen to be the one that's present in the vertical piece. You could actually reposition the screen where the action is, create your shorts from your portrait video.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. So going from horizontal to portrait by punching in a third of the screen, basically, that would be amazing.
That way you could use your horizontal video for your vertical needs. And even if I don't know how that can happen, but Quinston makes everything happen.
He's the leader.
He's like David versus Goliath, man. We got these huge funded. He's single-handedly kicking some ass with all these features.
It's good work. I have a question. How does this compare to the competition, which is like Recut or the other options? Because when I had this problem, the long editing hours with Final Cut Pro, I started looking for solutions and I found two quick ones, which is the TimeBolt and Recut. What's the comparison and the competitiveness there?
Well, if you don't need Umcheck, if you don't need to check for filler words, if you don't need punch, chapter markers for YouTube, the ability to create shorts, the ability to export multi-track audio, the ability to I'll show you our capture tool. You can go with a cheaper option, right? Or the ability to rapidly cut up a timeline. There are cheaper options. Right. That's not what.
Yeah, that's not the only thing you do. I get it.
Yeah, that's not. It's a whole it's across a spectrum of workflows. I mean, by continually improving the product, we're hoping to get everything. No matter if you're shooting a 1 minute short or a 3 hour Twitch stream, the goal's the same.
Also, I use OBS for recording the screen with all the filters, audio filters, and everything that's gonna apply to the video recording. I saw that you have a screen recording option, but I don't think like I wouldn't have the same control over the audio filters and stuff, right? I still have to record in OBS.
I kind of break it up into, hey, you've got brand videos. For example, I'm about ready to shoot an onboard video. I really just want to use TimeBolt to record it, okay? But the thing is, I might want to throw some green screen on there. I might want to add some filters and sound, because it's a brand video. It's going to be seen by lots of people. Probably will capture with OBS. But all my daily videos, my one-to-one video communications, okay, I don't want to have to open up OBS when I want to make a video to record it and then show somebody, because it ends up taking too long. What TimeBolt is, we built basically the ability to capture and send a quick video, but it doesn't suck to watch. Right? Like Loom, you can capture a quick video, but when you send it to somebody, they still have to watch it. And it's not like people are ecstatic about watching dead air, right? And at work, it's annoying. Have you tried our screen recording?
I reached a point where I accepted all the terms and conditions, and then I didn't.
Nice. Well, this is it. I'll show you real quick. Select our audio input, Yeti Nano, screen one. This is what there's this innovation right here. You can do standard, quick, and small, or highest quality, because if you're sending a quick video message to a client or something where you have to explain, show, not tell, here, I'll just hit start recording. The difference is that you're going to have a 10 megabit file versus 300, right? Yeah. Which, whatever you want to do with that file now, and I'll show you what we have built, but is ways to handle that. You've got your thumbnail here. You can take this down super small and it resizes. And what's nice is with TimeBolt, you stop talking, then you start talking again. Once you go live, full screen, you stop talking. And then when the recording happens, all that dead air is cut out. And it looks like you're just going in between screens. You're not having to switch between scenes and stuff like that, right? I hit stop recording and I'm going to go ahead and save this video. You hit save video. And what it's going to do is it's going to take that file and turn it from, it's going to take any of the variability in the bit rate, okay, and the frame rate, and it will encode it into constant frame rate. Here's our file. Let me see what we have built. But this is kind of the example. Then you start talking again. Once you go live, full screen, you stop talking. And then when the recording happens, and now you can do your punch values. If you got something over 5 minutes to 10 minutes, you're going to be able to do your check. Depends on if it's a boss or whatnot. And then you come down, okay, and what I do is I always activate turbo mode. I always like this will come at 1.125. Okay. If I'm sending it to Quinston, I'm putting this at 1.3. Okay. His time's valuable. He knows me. He knows my mannerisms, but usually I'm just doing 1.125. Now I can render this to my computer, which I will do. Okay. But this is sometimes, like if you're submitting a support ticket or you got to, comment to a community forum, or sometimes like on LinkedIn, you can only do like a 10 megabit size file, right? And you're communicating with somebody on LinkedIn. You just hit render and upload to an unlisted link. Check this out. You can see it's splitting the timeline right here, renders out the video. Now it's going to throw the turbo mode on. Now, faster than it took to capture live, you now have a link to a video that doesn't suck to watch. You can just copy it, put it right into the body of an email. Okay. If you click it, it opens up. Okay. It's a hidden, it's an unlisted link that if it's just kind of like YouTube, right? Where if you have an unlisted link, there's no web server. We keep this stuff. There's no channel, TimeBolt fucking channel. This is that you're going to have a 10 megabit file versus 300, right? Which whatever you want to do with that file now. And I'll show you what we have built, but
you can put the link in the chat for him to click on it.
This is only like 10 megabits in size. Okay. Like it could have been 100 megs if I would have done high quality. This is still a very watchable, and you can see what's going on the screen, and this is for rapid video messaging.
Cool. And is this uploaded to the TimeBolt cloud? How long is it? It's up for 14 days. All right. After 14 days, it's deleted.
That's just kind of protect us, really. It's interesting. After we kind of get through the ordering of Umcheck and stuff like that, we may take a look at this and say, does it make more sense to maybe do if it hasn't been viewed for 14 days? Right. Like if it's just a dormant video, does it make more sense to remove it then? Right. And kind of come up with those policies.
Cool.
But you can use it right now. It's right there inside your TimeBolt application. It works for every video below 12 minutes.
Okay. I tried using that works. And I used this method to download the video because it would upload it and then I could download it. But I guess there's a better way to download the video, right? Or is that the process? Like you
render it out, right? You render it. So you click on the add to render queue.
Yeah, add to render queue, start rendering.
Start rendering. All right, so this will download it to my file system instead.
So it says output file path over there. It goes to the output.
All right.
Above the button, you see that /user/ it goes there.
All right, cool.
Yeah, whatever folder that you'd selected. So now I can just actually click this link and I don't even have to go through and open up the file path. Let's see. So here's the video.
This is going to save me a lot of time because in the Final Cut, it cannot export MP4. I have to export it as .mov, but my LMS doesn't take MOVs. I need to convert it to MP4 first and then upload it to my LMS.
We have a re-encoder too. If you go to in our utilities section, if you go to tools. We have re-encoders. If you have any file, you can just, if you want to convert to MP4, you can just drop it in here.
It's very good.
If you have any, this is the thing, and I think it's important to note that if you have any issue, like if you drop your file and you hit play and it doesn't play, you might notice what happens is like on Zoom, if you don't hit enable for third-party editor, it's going to record as a variable frame rate. If PowerPoints, there's times when you're recording on a Mac that, or even OBS coming from Twitch, where they have the stream may go out for a bit and it just turns the frames in a variable frame rate. And then all of a sudden your stuff's out of sync or it doesn't even play depending on how severe the VFR is. People would be like, what the hell's wrong with TimeBolt? When in fact, it was the file, it won't, Premiere doesn't like it. Your on-prem editing software doesn't handle that because it's not re-encoding it before it throws it up there. And you're like, what's wrong with TimeBolt? You would have to, it's not like I can go right click and then go, hey, is this file variable frame rate? It is actually super complicated. It involves about 10 lines of code that you would have, and I'm not you would have to execute. Quinston built the variable frame rate. So this actually runs all those processes, detects it if it's variable frame rate and by how much, and you can actually just convert it right here in TimeBolt and then just fix it the next time you're capturing. But everything you need to run a successful file in TimeBolt is now in our tools.
Do you have a Black Friday discount code?
No, we're already priced. We haven't raised our prices in quite some time, even dealing with inflation. And we feel like we're priced right for the market. And
it's definitely, I would pay twice as much to get this functionalities. It's
awesome.
Very good.
Awesome.
By the way, how long have you, when did this start, the project?
2019.
I think
you're a COVID survivor.
COVID helped us a lot, actually.
Beneficiary.
COVID beneficiaries.
It was just YouTubers suffering in silence back in 2019. And that's when we kind of came out with this. Quinston was already working on a version. I had built the brand TimeBolt because I was like, holy shit, I can't believe people do this by hand. I was basically showing employers what I could do with developing a category concept. And then Quinston and I connected up and built great trust over time. And we've been working together now for over three years. Has it been 4?
It's 4 years. I think 2 months off of 4 years, I think.
That's right. Over 3 years.
Yeah.
Almost 4. Yeah, that is TimeBolt in a nutshell with capture, and you've got a number of different export options. If you want to know just in the future, like how to do like multicam work, let's say you get into multicam work for Final Cut Pro and whatnot. What I'd like you to do is you go to TimeBolt, go to timebolt.io, and you can come down here, and we've got basically a guide, okay, based on if you're doing a single file or multi-file and what you're exporting as. If you're doing Final Cut Pro multicam, we actually have a tool for that. So this is the how to operate, and then we've also got our videos listed. All the information is centralized into our features. If you have any questions about how to run things, what else is available, stuff like that.
One last question I have about transition. I have a very basic fade out at the end of my clips in Final Cut, but I can't do that in TimeBolt right now, can I?
Oh, no. If you custom transitions are not accepted because it's not built for that sort of an application. The transitions that you see right now is only for transitions between scenes. It's not at the end or start. It's just between scenes. But that's for your applications, I don't think it will work.
I have a very basic fade to black, just to finish the video.
I think it shouldn't be a problem anyway, because when you export from TimeBolt, you will be exporting an XML file, right? So you have the FCP XML from TimeBolt, which you can just directly import into Final Cut Pro. Have you seen that, or you just render it?
No, I definitely checked that out, but it's not worth it for me to export an XML and put it in FCP, and then it will export a .mov for me, and I have to convert.
Oh yeah,
it's too much of a workflow. So I'll just skip the fade to black, but it would be a nice addition, I think.
Okay. That should be possible actually. You can add that fade to black. Yeah.
Your ending is just you want a soft ending instead of just cutting at the end of the video.
I would like to tell you though, the .mov thing, I think you can get around it just by changing MOV to MP4. I don't think that should be a problem. Just like
the extension?
Rename it to, I think you can just rename it. I don't think you try to answer.
I'll definitely try that.
I think you can, because so MOV and MP4, these are just containers. They don't really mean anything. The encoding
from what I've understood, the MOV it's a video file in which if something gets interrupted or there is like a hard interruption, the OBS closes down or lags out or whatever, I don't lose my recording. I keep all of my recording until then. But the MP4 gets encoded after the recording has stopped. Then it encodes all of the file at once. But MOV does it in chunks.
I'm not saying in OBS. I'm saying after you get the file itself. Like when you have the file in MOV format, I'm not saying change your OBS settings. I'm just saying in your file system, when you have the MOV file, just try to change it to MP4 and see if it works, because it just might. And
then I'll cry for 10 days because I've spent so many hours converting. Yeah, let me check that out right now. Actually, I'll just.
If it works, it's worth a try, right?
If it works, then it's something I should have thought of way before. Let's see.
The thing is,
I tried it. Now it works. Thank you.
It works.
Just a container.
Just a container.
It's just a container. I love coming back after Quincy figures it out and just throwing a. It's just a container. I also wanted to show you one other very important workflow that I didn't, okay? And that is the importance of whether we do verticalized video one day or not. If you upload a phone video, a vertical video into TimeBolt, I don't know. I understand you use Final Cut Pro. Have you ever used CapCut?
Yes, I use it for my vertical videos.
We're like, shorts are extremely important to us, just like they are to the world. Okay. You add your markers, or this is just actually a video made for a short. Okay. After you cut and you add your punch values, like you can do all that stuff, all the punch, cut work inside TimeBolt and get it down to 60 seconds. Imagine you got your video in here. It can only be 60 seconds long. If you got something where, oh shit, I got this, it's 65 seconds, right? You got turbo mode, compress that down. It'll compress it and speed up the rate of speech. Is you're going to go down here. Let's say you had to have turbo mode on. Okay. And now what you do is you come here and you do export clips to a folder. Okay. You click this. And what happens is, oh, here it is. What happens is that it goes in and basically makes individual videos out of every single cut that you made. Makes individual videos out of every single cut that you made, with all your effects all in there. What you're going to do now is just do.
We solve attention deficit video disorder.
Let me go ahead and do this. You'd simply open up a new project in CapCut. Going to hit this import option.
It was called social clips render.
And I go here to social clips rendered. I hit I highlight them all, hit import, already all highlighted. I simply drop this in and they are all in sequential order. Now what happens? These are all just like individual clips. Now your timeline's all cut up. It makes adding transcriptions super fast. Now, as you can see, because these are all cut up, the transcriptions become very accurate, okay? You're not having to sit there and do a bunch of back and forth editing and resizing of these because they're all individual clips. And then obviously a huge benefit is when you're adding your transitions, everything's already all cut up, right? But now everything's just cut up. Add transitions, your effects, and know exactly how long something needs to be based on the size of the clip, right? Whatever
And if
effect.
you put a bad one on YouTube, no one watches. But for
And your punch values, as you can see, are all punched in. And of course, you can then get all your captions right. But it really helps out dropping into CapCut all of these as individual clips and having your timeline already cut up, because do not try to do this inside CapCut.
Do you know if it's the auto text in CapCut supports Swedish? Can you check?
I don't have this.
When you try to do the auto translation, adding the automatical subtitles, you could select the language there. Maybe you can, there on the drop down, if you press that, there's
Trying to get to the Sweden.
Spanish. All right, no Swedish yet. What would that mean? Does that mean I need to pay 50 cents to get...
No, this is not related to time.
This is free in CapCut.
If I want Swedish subtitles, can I do that with Umcheck?
Not at this time. Our captions don't export, right? They're not exporting with specific timestamps for specific clips.
I think for this, you need an SRT file, right? It's a different type of file that you'd need. SRT. Can you click on local caption stuff? Just see, I think they would have some import options. They have an SRT file. Oh, we could.
Because the Umcheck is JSON already, so it shouldn't be so hard to convert it to
Yeah,
SRT.
exactly. It's JSON. So you need to convert it into... Yeah, we can write a script to convert it to SRT. I can have that button on there. We can download an SRT file from there.
That would be very good.
Well, the problem would be
because Umcheck already supports a lot of languages, 37 languages from AWS, right? So that would be a really good feature if you could export the SRT file. And because you could use that in CapCut, you can use it in YouTube videos. Once you upload them, upload your SRT file.
Correct.
So it's very beneficial. Because in the JSON dog, you have already the timelines, because each clip has where the words appear. It would
in SRT files, have you seen a subtitles file inside like a movie? So when you watch a movie, right, you have that subtitles file. That's exactly what an SRT file is, a subtitle file, which you just have, it's text.
Will it have, let's say I cut out 30 seconds from that file and it's got 100 words in it. Are those 100 words still going to be in the SRT file? How, now you have to match up
where the words are. You just need to convert them into sentences. So if you see the CapCut thing, CapCut has sentences and not words, right? It doesn't do it at a word level. It has a sentence level. So basically what they did was they essentially know that this sentence starts from like time A to time B. The SRT file will have time A, time B, and then that sentence. And that's what is accepted in CapCut essentially. CapCut only accepts an SRT file.
Yes.
Wow. It doesn't even if I export as clips. Even if I export as...
Because that's what's being generated with auto captions, right? In auto captions, what's happening is that it's creating that SRT file. It just doesn't show it to you.
When is this available?
I can have it up pretty quickly. We'll send you an email. Okay, can you send your email to Doug
of course.
in the chat? The button's already created, actually.
We already had a dialogue on email, right? Yeah, I sent you the monthly refund thing.
Into one of the annual.
I don't know what to do with all the extra hours I have now.
Vacation.
Get a dog, man. Not a woman. Get a dog. Okay, it's going to save you a bunch of money. I don't want you to...
It's too late for that. It's too late for that.
Oh, there you go.
I already got a woman instead of a dog, but I'm not planning to change anytime soon.
Nice, dude. Well, congratulations. Awesome, gentlemen. And Louis, Louis, thank you for joining us. I know you've been here in spirit and on chat. That's it for TimeBolt Office Hours on November 30th. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and of course, the notification bell when we go live. And we're out of time. Thank you. Appreciate you, gentlemen.